Oh, another day, another Love Island USA season number 8 think piece, and this one is for episode number 12. You got mail, or do you?
Yeah, money. I look into my life and pop culture vibes. Welcome to Amani's Vibe.
More and more, I'm realizing that my take on Love Island USA, I may be the only person that thinks about what the producers do in their editing. How can people not recognize this after what happened with Justine and Caleb and what happened with Alandria and Nick and Taylor? How could y'all not see this, that the reason she believed she was in a relationship with Taylor and the reason that other people said they were the strongest couple is because they made sure to show every time Taylor was questioning or not showing an interest. Maybe it's because I worked in radio and have been on TV that I understand editing, because I even edit my own pieces and I'm just editing with my phone to cut out cuss words. To cut out cuss words, change scenes, like nothing drastic I do here, but it's really easy, really easy to tape an entire scene and splice it together to even make a sentence. You can literally take 10 scenes that they shot that day of Anaya speaking, and you can actually splice it. Like if they recorded her for a long period of time talking, I don't know, for 3 hours to Trinity, you can take that and make whatever you want of it. Okay, I'm done. I'm all alone out here. I'm all alone out here. And I know this because I do have reviewers that I like. And I remember last year, was it last year? Yes, because last year was the first year I was really doing think pieces. Like for me, really doing them. And I was at home getting pissed off. I was mad at reviewers I knew. No, and maybe that started in season 6. Yes, it started in season 6 because I was like, don't reviewers realize how much the internet has changed and how much the fans have changed and how everything they say, people just take it to heart? Yes, I was definitely, when people that I really liked were going against Serena, like is that parasocial? I literally was like, I'm unfollowing these reviewers that I've always liked, because why are they all saying this about Serena? So yes, I guess that's being parasocial. And yes, I have favorites when I'm watching the show. I have favorites, but you know what? I can still be like less biased about that, but I definitely watch a show knowing what they do. And there's no doubt. One really great difference this year, and another thing I don't understand why, is reviewers get upset that the Islanders don't watch the show. We are watching a show for months, for 2 hours sometimes. You think they're going to come off a show that they were on every day and then sit down at home when they haven't seen their family or friends, are probably getting brand deals, and watch a show where they underwent like anti-black racism or lots of community hate, and you think they're going to sit there and then watch the entire show? No, the only person that has ever done that is Janae Craig, our modern day Nene Leakes, okay? Because Janae watched a whole show and had receipts, and she made sure to watch everything. That is not the norm of how a person would feel. I also would never want to watch myself on TV after being on TV, even if I'm doing something positive. I can barely watch me doing my reviews with the stuff I have going on. I don't even like my voice, y'all. I don't like my voice. Now, I've, I'm, I mean, I love it now, but I've never liked it because I sound so young, and I always have. Now, I also have a media voice because I worked in radio, so I'm actually able to change my voice. And I studied theater. Because I studied theater, I'm aware of things like if I talk too nasal, if my voice, if I need it to be deeper, if I need, I'm aware of all that stuff, but that's because I studied it and I'm into all that stuff. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent again. Like, is this what I plan to talk about right now? No, it isn't. But to the people that are subscribed to my channel, you've been subjected to a rant, okay? But yeah, I watch a show not at face value because I know what they do with editing, especially to people of color. I already said before the show happened that Anaya and Casey were going to be fine. Also, I do deep dives, my own, into learning about people, which is why I really like Bryce, because he's a DJ and a producer, and they're not showing that. They're just focusing on the gay element of Zach and Bryce, and it's bizarre to me. But the show is doing that because the audience keeps bringing it up, so they're going to take every moment. They could have done the exact same thing with Taylor and Ace and Nick last season because they also had a major bromance. And if they wanted to, they could have just taken all those scenes and done the same thing. So I do want y'all to know that so far, I don't think anybody on the show is delusional because they're spending lots of hours together. Okay? Maybe Kenzie. No, she's not delusional. She's smart. She knows what she's doing. I already said that too. All right, so now let's talk about the show. Let's talk about the show last night. Let's talk about the show. I'm going to talk about what happened at the show, but just know that I am not looking at it the way you are. And I hope that you still respect me for that. I also wanted to say that I'm going to stop now or else I'll never stop. So in order to me talk about the show, I just want to start with one thing, which I said. I knew how the audience was going to vote, and it's based on what the producers and the editors are showing you. So the audience, of course, was going to vote for Sincere to be with Soul and for Corbin to choose Melanie and then Beatrice to get off the show. Maybe that's not what they wanted necessarily, but I knew the way they would vote for the couples, that was going to happen. And you know what? If they were given one more day, they would have also separated the next day. If there was one more day, they would have actually had KC with Soul and Anaya with Corbin, because that's how the viewers change their minds every single day based on the show they see. It's incredible to me, the power of producing and editing, but that's why there's film and TV, right? Even though it's a reality show. In looking at the couples myself, and listening to the interviews when they came off the show, which is Sean and Beatrice, apparently Bryce and Trinity, they have much more of a stronger relationship than we're seeing. But of course, the editing is focusing on Bryce and Zach. They also say the same thing about Zach and Kata. But of course, they're going to focus on everything negative Zach says to paint that picture that he's not interested in her. I am not a huge fan of Zach for different reasons. I think Zach is, listen, this is what I'm going to say. Again, I'm not a registered psychologist. I'm not the doctor that said she was a doctor. I'm a creative and a writer who's been through a lot. Anxiety comes in many different forms. Okay, and it's not always noticeable. Another form of anxiety, if you may not know, that I learned from a therapist is micromanaging. People that are micromanaging or that are perfectionists, I understand that. That's actually a form of anxiety because you want everything to go a certain way, or people that overthink. Zach is most definitely an overthinker. Definitely. We're not seeing all of it. We're just going to hear him, his insecurities coming out. Like when he's saying, what if another bombshell comes? What if this? What if that? I don't know. I'm looking at it a different way that yes, he could definitely jet. I think he can't believe that Kata actually really liked him as much as she does, first off. Two, I think he's worried about Kata. I think he's voicing these opinions not for himself because he is attached to her and likes her, and he thinks Kata can do that if somebody comes in there that's more her type, because they've had a lot more conversations than we would know about. So that's how I feel about that. Who else is there now? Corbin, Kenzie. Kenzie is just like, you know what? I don't know about her past, but I can remember looking on her page, and it's definitely not full of like multi-ethnic people. So definitely she's, enjoying Corbin. I do feel bad for Caleb. I do think he really gave it a shot, but Kenzie, she's doing, Kenzie is, remember how earlier I said that Gabe was the seducer? Like that's how he reins the women in. He's like, hello, I don't want to talk. Can I have a kiss? Kenzie's actually the same. She's the same. She's the male version of Gabe. She is. Corbin does that too, but it's not, he doesn't have the same power that Gabe and Kenzie have over the people that like them, which is why Melanie didn't. And it's also because Melanie is convinced that her and Sincere are a perfect couple. Sincere reminds me 1,000% of Leo from season 5. I'm having like definite, I can definitely make a correlation between season 5, the antics, and what's going on in this season now. And I don't feel bad for Soul either, because Soul is gorgeous and she's going to have so many brand deals when she steps out of this island. But it would be nice if she could actually connect with somebody that likes her. She seems very ethereal and deep and into energy and things like that. And it would be kind of cool if there was somebody there like that. It's funny because if I were just on the outside observing and watching the couples, I would actually think that her and Bryce would make a good couple conversation wise. I don't know if they'd be attracted to each other, but the way that Bryce goes on and talks, I actually think that him and Soul, if they talked, that they could actually have like a really good connection. Okay. I know you guys are probably like, what is she talking about? Well, I'm just letting y'all know what I think. Now let's talk about the show a bit, and then I'll get back to my analogies. Yeah, so when Anaya is talking to Trinity about her frustrations with Casey and that he's not taking her seriously and that she needs that, I get that. Like to me, I don't look at it as her pushing him away. I look at it as they are building. They've been building from day one. Like I said, there's a piece I said where nobody's a couple, whereas now they are one of the only two people I see that are in a real potential relationship. And Bryce and Trinity could be too, but we're not seeing it. But as far as and it's not just my bias because I really like them and I really like Casey. It's just the reality of how they met, and what they've been building. Okay. But so to me, the conflict she's having with him is normal. And And so I'm trying to, maybe people in the comments, you can help me try to understand how people can watch the show and then be like, get Casey out of there. Why would you want to vote these people off? I'm going to tell you right now, as much as people are like, Kenzie's getting on my nerves, or this one's getting on my nerves, I want them off. The show is not going to take Kenzie off that show. Kenzie is good television. Another thing, hello, this show is like diversity and equity backwards. Everybody there is like a person from another culture. There's only like three people that are of Caucasian descent on the show. There's no way. Like this has never happened, that cultural mix. So there's no way that Kenzie's going off the show. So I'm not saying that. So yeah, and then I go, what if the audience, what if you guys were actually, and this is why I'm not even on the pages and I see this stuff, and that's what's crazy. The fact that I'm not even on there for a second, but I'll see the first look, and then like the comments, you just see them right away. Get her out of there. She's faking. Do this. Imagine if the audience really was in charge of the show. Who would be there now? Nobody. Like, y'all would have literally eliminated every single Islander at this point. I think the only Islander you would have on the show right now is Soul. Soul and Trinity, and let me think if you would have any of the guys still there. Yes, if the audience had their way, the three people that would be on the show right now would be Soul, Trinity, and Sean. And that would be it. Everybody else would be gone. I just want you to think about that for a minute, okay? And I know some people are bored with this season, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, y'all. Anyway, so Anaya is going on about, she wants him to be serious just for 5 minutes, and Casey's just, oh, we're not getting along. We're not on the same page. I don't understand why we're not on the same page right now. So that's kind of the pictures that are being painted leading up to the You Got Mail. Now, You Got Mail is the event that completely tore up season 7 in a different way. This time they're asking them to write love letters, and I believe they did that because America separated all the couples. And this was a way to get all of those original couples back together so that they have Thursday, Friday, and Sunday before Casa Amor. And maybe there'll be a couple more bombshells that come in. But they want that right now. What would happen is the same problem as season 7, where we didn't get to have people really build relationships, right? Now we have something. We have people that are forming bonds that are getting closer so that they can be challenged when Casa Amor happens. And to the people who've never watched this show before and you're like, what is Casa Amor? It's literally Temptation Island on the villa, at another part of the villa. And we as the audience know when it's going to come up, but they as the cast have no idea when it's going to come up. It usually happens when there's like, they do something that separates the guys and the girls, and then then it all starts, and that's a whole other show, y'all. Whole other show. So yeah, in watching the show, I kind of already knew what the outcome would be, but I will let you know. Basically, at the end of the day, the couples that wrote letters to each other were Gabe and Jen. And Jen really likes him. Like, she genuinely likes him. Gabe, like I said, they've painted him as the Latin lover. So it wouldn't matter what deep things he was saying. To tell you the truth, we'd never know. Because that's his role. That's his role in this season. And the other couples are Anaya and Casey, who wrote sweet letters to each other. and I saw somewhere about, I don't know where, about when Anaya said she hopes that Casey serenades her. I think that's a code for something. I find like each season they have a code, and I think serenade does not mean he sings to her. I think that they've all found their ways to talk about things that maybe are intimate. That's just my guess, but when she talked about the princess and the fairy tale stuff, actually that was really interesting to me. That just really stood out to me. But then I'm thinking that, Anaya, yes, she's the daughter of a basketball player. And yes, she talked about being the prom queen. So she's had a life where to me, her life is very different for me anyway. Like, she's definitely from what do you say, like upper class, higher class, well off. I'm sure she's well off, but also you can tell that her parents have instilled values in her with her working with their not for profit, right? But you can tell she's very family oriented. So, and then her parents must be still together. I don't know. I haven't done that type of a deep dive, but you see that she is such a romantic in her letter, which I found very interesting. But also that she also wanted to really clear up her feelings for Casey. And then Casey's letter, I really, I really like Casey. And so I've done a deep dive into Casey. And so maybe this is where I'll talk about it, since I'm not staying on track for anything. And that's just how it is today. Casey, y'all, is first of all very. So, first, I kept asking, can somebody tell me what his back says? I could not read his back for like 8, 9 episodes, and nobody listening to my pieces would tell me. I guess I could have just posted a picture of him and said, can you tell me what's on his back? I do know now that it says Still I Rise, which of course is from the Dr. Maya Angelou poem. But listen, y'all, Casey's deep. First of all, he's business oriented, he's community oriented, he's definitely into Black history and culture. His sister is the bomb, like real close family. So those things that he said when he was telling her about, about he loves dark-skinned women and he knows what they're going through, all of that's true. Very much a community guy, has an amazing group of friends, like his friends, great group of guy friends. You know what it's like? It's like the Black version of Nick. To be honest, so he has this group of friends that got together and held a movie night for him, that are writing for him online. And let me tell you, to get to this, when I say like my deep dives, like I had to go into my journal, my journal mode. I mean, maybe this is how the fans find out information, or maybe I should work for the show, but it wasn't something that I found really easy. To see that, he's also a barber, like he's a clipper, he does hair, he has like running groups and walking groups, very community oriented. So I think looking into that and just seeing the type of person he is, he's already like my favorite now. My favorites used to be Kenzie, Bryce, and Casey and Anaya, but my favorite right now is just Casey. I think looking to see what his life is like, it's like, what an amazing young man. That's how I feel. All right. So here's my bias. Yes, really looking into who he is, the type of background he comes from, the community events he's involved in, and his friends. It's like so dope. I was like, that's amazing. Um, and also, I've started doing interviews, and I'm going to see if I can interview one of his friends for my channel because I think that would be so cool. But yeah, so I'm all for Casey and Anaya. Okay, now back to them. So they're together, and then when they get back together, like he's so happy to hug her, like he really missed her. Um, who else is on this show? Okay, so just kidding. So Gav and Jen are together. They wrote each other letters. Casey and Anaya wrote each other letters. And so that's how I knew there wouldn't be any conflict. The show's gonna have them go through their letters early. So I'd already figured that out. I was like, in order for them to have any type of like tension in the show, it's going to be, Kenzie, and then they're probably going to end with Sincere and Melanie. Yeah, so basically, Kenzie, because what happens is when they open the mailbox, they'll either have a letter or they won't, right? So then it's like Kenzie, Corbin, and Caleb the cowboy. And Kenzie has two letters, so you don't know who she wrote. So she has a letter from Caleb, really sweet letter, poor guy. Like he really believed her, you know. But she does that thing with her eyes where she pulls them in. Gabe pulls them in with the kisses, and Kenzie pulls them in with her eyes, and that look she gives. So she pulled Caleb in, but what I found, she has a way of belittling people, everybody she talks to, these guys, about how he's so young, and has he ever done this, and then that weird thing with the vision that she was saying wrong. It's just something I noticed about her. She also, same thing with Corbin, when he's like, shh, what, the sound, and he's like, that's white noise. And she's like, no, that's not white noise. This is white noise. I listen to the jungle is white noise. This is white noise. She has this thing about, I don't know, wanting to be an author. What do you call that? Author. I can't think of the word now because I'm tired, but yeah, like an authority on subjects that she's not necessarily an authority on. So I don't know if that's like an insecurity thing, or if that's like you know, a privilege thing of like, no, 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 I understand. Like I'm better than you. She has that type of thing that I didn't notice early on, but I've just been watching that evolve along the way. So she has two letters, one from Caleb, one from Corbin. Great letters. And then you don't know who she wrote to, but she didn't write to Caleb, and he's poor kid. Yeah, he doesn't take it well. Of course he shouldn't, because he believed her. And then Corbin, she wrote to Corbin, and so she's just happy. And then, of course, le élément de suspense, that they got to have suspense. So that's Melanie and Soul and Sincere. Now I'm looking at the show, and I see Sincere as being insincere. I applaud Melanie for really giving him the space. Now remember, he's a chaser. She slept outside. I saw some people say that was for attention. I've already told y'all, I could never be on this show. Can you imagine being in a show, in a room with the guy that you were with for a week or whatever, and he's just all over another girl in the same room? Oh no, I couldn't do it either, Melanie. I'm with you on this one, and I actually think she's handling things well. I feel like the audience is trying to paint this picture of her being completely out of control and being like the H from last season. And no, I've already said they are nothing alike. It's two completely different things. But also, like, she's from the Dominican, like spicy, spicy. But I don't think that Melanie has done anything so terrible that people should be against her. I don't, so that's what I don't get. But okay. Sincere now. Sincere. I honestly thought he might pick Soul. Okay, like I did think so. What I saw, it seemed like he was very different with Soul. Definitely more tender, more loving, more endearing. I That's what I saw. It's There seemed to be a gentler side to the way that he was with her. And you let me know in the comments if you saw that too, because that's what I saw. So I can honestly say I wasn't sure, but then I was thinking of the show itself and I was like, he's going to pick Melanie, right? So he picked Melanie. Soul, you know, Soul and Caleb are now a couple by default. And that's pretty much how the show ends. And, Caleb feels used and abused, and Soul just feels like a fool for falling for, I guess, all of the ish that Sincere was spouting to her in her ears. But watching it, and this is not something I think was a camera trick, you can't fake your affection or your feeling. And I do think he really likes Melanie as well, but I just think he's maybe a bit of a horn dog. I think he's just at that stage and he's on this island. And one thing about this show, it might help him mature, it might not. And I can't even lie to y'all. I forgot all about Bryce and Trinity, but it's no insult to them. It's because they're fine and there was no drama for them, but they wrote each other beautiful letters and they're very happy. So I have come back to insert this and put some pictures of them there. But yeah, because I do a high level overview, I don't even usually talk about as much as I did today, but I wanted to let you know about Casey, kind of the things that I found out. I've come back to insert this, and then we'll go back to what I had previously recorded. Okay. Really, I was coming to the end, and I just feel that with Sincere and how he is in his back and forth, that Casa Amor is going to be crazy. And that's really what I want to say. I mean, Casa Amor's next week. I think it's going to just it's going to raise the stakes of everybody's relationship or non-relationship even more. It's really going to give the audience something to think about. And I'm looking forward to see the bombshells or the people that they're going to have for Casa Amor. So yes, if you enjoyed my think piece where I definitely went on tangents and you still stayed to listen to all of this, thank you so much. I just want to say thank you so much to my loyal subscribers to the Vibe Squad. Thank you to the people that are discovering me for listening to something a little bit different than what other people are talking about. And you know what else I'm going to say? Hey, this is Amani's Vibe. And you know what? It's always a vibe. So please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ooh,
and that's what's up.
Welcome to Amani's Vibe. That's the space that I provide. Ooh, no negativity, no lies. Here is just positive vibes. Love Island, USA, pop culture, sports, and telling stories in my own way.